In this video, we are going to create a private DNS zone and link virtual networks and then test the name resolution. Let's discuss the scenario. We are going to build on top of the last demo. In the previous demo, we had VMs deployed in two networks and we experienced the limitation of Azure provided DNS that two virtual networks cannot talk to each other using DNS names. What is that we are going to do in this demo? We create the private DNS zone called securevantage.local and link the virtual networks to that particular private zone. Then ensure that A records are seen for the VMs that we created in private zone and use the new DNS names to connect them across two networks. So let's get on the Azure portal. I am on the Azure portal. Let's go ahead and create the resource group first. What is the resource group we going to name? RG, we just going to call it as private zones. Let's place this particular resource group in Australia East and say review and create. Validation pass, resource group is being created. Okay, so our resource group is in place, private zone. Second thing that we need to do is basically go ahead and create the private DNS zone. So that's the private DNS zone. Create private DNS zone. We select our resource group. We name this one securevantage.local and we place that in the Australia East as well. Let's make sure that the name is correct in this case. Looks like a correct name. Let's not bother about the editor at this time. We say review and create and validation pass. Let's go ahead and create this particular private zone. Private zone is created. Let's go to the resource and let's make sure that we see whatever that we want to see, right? And here in the record side, you can see there is a one SOA record added, right? The next thing that we need to do is link virtual networks. This is the place where you can link the virtual network to this particular private zone. Select that and say add, and we name this one like a we link hub 1. And we go ahead and select the hub virtual network. You can say enable auto registration in this case because that's what we want, and we create that one here. Second thing, we also add for the spoke network. Let's go ahead and say spoke 1, and in this case as well we select the right network and we say enable auto registration and let's say create. Let's go ahead and refresh once again and let's ensure that we see both the virtual network link is added here. Both of them are being created right now. You can see the link status in progress. You can see now the link status is completed. That means both the virtual networks are now linked to this private zone. Let's see what we get in the record side. And here, because we had that auto registration, you can see that the A record for those three VMs are added here. And we can see something more there, but I'm not sure why they are there. We are not bothered about those records. Let's make sure that we're just targeting these three, right? Now, what is the thing that we can do? We can go back to the virtual machines. Let's make sure that we restarting all the virtual machines because I think it's a good practice to ensure that these are restarted when you make any kind of like a DNS changes actually, so that network can see those interfaces on the network. And you can see that all the three machines are restarted now. What we can do, if you remember, the last time when we try to connect to the my VM1 and my VM2, we are not in a position to log in using a DNS name, and that DNS name was Azure provided DNS name. But right now, if we go back to the private zone, right, and if we repair our private zone and the record set our new DNS names for this VM is going to be my hub VM dot securevantage.local, my VM1 .securevantage.local, and my VM2 securevantage.local, right? So that is a key to understand in this particular case. So because now we have that virtual link established for those network, our name resolution should work. So my hub VM is in a different network and these two VMs are in a different network. And what is that we're going to test? We're just going to test the name resolution across two different networks using a private DNS zone. Okay, so let's go ahead and log into this one using a bastion, and we are going to use the account that we created for this machine, and let me enter the password. Go ahead and connect this one. All right, so is popping up. So let's wait for a few seconds to make sure that we get the desktop here. Let's go ahead and close that. We don't need server manager in this case. Let's go ahead and check what we see in the IP config. In IP config, there won't be any change as such, particularly for the DNS suffix, but we know that we have a kind of private DNS zone configured for both the networks, right? So if we try now to log in to my VM1.securevantage.local, because that is the DNS name we have given now to the VM, it should basically work. And there you go, you got that particular prompt. Similar thing for the two as well, because they are in a different network. So we can basically go to the two from here, and let's ensure that we can go to the two. So let's try to log in just to make sure that we get there using RDP protocol, and we should see the connection going through, right? We are on the my hub VM, and from my hub VM we connecting to the VM which is in a different network, right? And there you go. Let's go ahead and close the server manager. We don't need this one. And now, because we are on a my VM2, what we can try to do, we can try to basically get on a my VM1 from here, and let's see whether that also works or not. That's the DNS name, and it should basically go there as well. Now see the limitation that we had with Azure provided DNS regarding resolving names across two networks is not there anymore with private DNS zone. It's a very minimal setup, right? We did not deploy any other VM. We only created a securevantage.local private DNS. We linked the networks, and now your name resolution is basically working for the VM across the networks, right? That is the thing to understand. You can also manage records manually if needed. Like if you want, to add, suppose the VMs is not registered automatically, you can manually add the record just like you do, in any other DNS solution. You come here and add the record, right? And we also discussed that the different types of records supported here. So you can see that IPv4 is supported, IPv6 is supported, CNAME is supported, MX is supported, TXT, PTR, and service record is also supported, right? So it's a complete solution for private network. All right, that's all pretty much in this video.